So we're going to continue with the chapter Ailing Planet, class 11. And yesterday what we had discussed was about the need to change our approach towards the planet, right? That we have to realize that everyone has to take responsibility for the well-being, for the welfare of the environment. Here in this chapter, a very important movement has been discussed, which movement that began in New Zealand, the Green Movement, right? And how that was one step to address the needs of the planet, right? And yes, so since then, I think so many things have been done to make sure that, yes, we take care of the environment in a proper way. There is a zoo at Lusaka, Zambia, and there's a mirror and there's a caption also reading the world's most dangerous animal. And when you look in the mirror, you realize that you are the most dangerous animal. And of course, it goes without saying that man has exploited the planet for his needs to the maximum extent. Regarding the use of resources, has been approved, like talked about, discussed. What is that? We're talking about a sustainable development. We're talking about a sustainable approach. Okay, what is that? That you should use the resources wisely, judiciously, and you should make sure that we do not harm the interests of the future generation. Okay, right? There have been reports regarding the condition of the planet, and they suggest that if we continue at the rate at which we are damaging the environment, there are chances that we are going to be living among deserts, right? Impoverished landscapes, your deserts here. This is what is going to be the scenario. Okay, and this is happening. We're growing, we're developing, we need more land, we need more roads, we need more houses. Resources are the same. Resources have not increased. What has increased? The number of humans have increased, right? So population is one very big factor, which decides the condition of the environment, the condition of the surroundings. Right here, yes. So here scientists say what about it? Here we are growing and expanding so immensely, and we are not taking care of the environment. As a result, there are many species that are endangered, and yes, many have become extinct. And in fact, surprisingly, there are many species on this planet that we are not even aware about existence. We have not catalogued them, we have not recorded them, we don't have any information about them. So that means that we don't have a very clear picture with how many species we are inhabiting this planet. So we need to respect that also. Okay, right? So what we're going to continue with the reading of the chapter. Any doubts, any questions you have regarding this? Now we are going to talk about the biological systems of the earth, right? And one by one, we are going to discuss that how human activity has destroyed these components, right? So these biological systems, how man has exploited, how man has created a problem, and what can we do to change that? The earth is ailing, the earth is showing signs of distress. We need to address those needs. We need to look into that situation. We need to change our ways. We need to change our approach. One thing, yes, from a mechanistic, that the earth is not divided into parts. One activity in one part of the earth, it can affect others. And we are aware of that, how it is happening, right? So we need to understand that it is not one individual, it is not one country that is responsible, but collectively all individuals are responsible. So we have to change our approach towards the problems of the planet. Okay, so let's continue. Mr. Lester R. Brown, in his thoughtful book, The Global Economic Prospect, points out that the Earth's principal biological fisheries, their forests, their grasslands, and their croplands. That means all the aspects of the earth, right? We are concerned about all of them. And they form the foundation of the global economic system. The whole economy of the globe, it rests on these systems. So if there's an imbalance in one of them, it is going to affect the whole world. So what are those systems? Please underline, please note, what are those systems? Very, very important. This is, you can say, the most important aspect of this chapter, right? What are they? Fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. So it's air, land, so land and water, soil, all these aspects have been covered. Okay, right. In addition to supplying our food, these four systems provide virtually all the raw materials for industry except minerals and petroleum derived excipients. So these four systems, right, your fisheries, your grasslands, your croplands, and your forests, right? So all these four systems, they provide raw material for except for your minerals and resources and your petroleum, right? In large areas of the world, human claims on these systems are reaching an unsustainable level, a point where the productivity is being impaired. We are like that. We keep on exploiting and exploiting. We will not give Earth a chance to replenish itself, to repair itself. Okay, right? So when this happens, fisheries collapse. You're fishing more than the productivity. Forests disappear. Where deforestation is happening more than deforestation. An imbalance is happening. Grasslands are converted into barren wastelands. So grasslands, whether it is by overgrazing, whether it is by human activity, then what happens, right? How important the grasslands are there, right? So they are being converted into barren wastelands. And croplands deteriorate. We're using so many chemicals, we're using so many fertilizers, right? That we are spoiling the quality of the land. As a result, the crops also. In a protein-conscious and protein-hungry world, overfishing is common everywhere. So yes, so our diet has changed. We become very conscious about our needs, and we want to eat what you can say what a protein-rich diet, right? So as a result, overfishing, okay, is common everywhere. In poor countries, local forests are being decimated in order to procure firewood for cooking. So in some places still, where people don't have access to other means of cooking, right? They're not using the gas stoves, you know, so they're still using firewood to make their food. So there they go to the forest and they bring back firewood. As a result, that is also pumping the forests, right? Firewood has become so expensive in some places that what goes under the pot now costs more than what goes inside it, right? So that the firewood, if people have to buy it, it is so expensive, right? And they have to walk long distances to get that firewood. So they are able to get means, okay, right? Yes, sir. Once again, a reminder, please write your full name. Okay, write your full name, write your class, section, roll number. Okay, yes. Yeah, where were we? So what goes under the pot now costs more than what goes inside it. So that the firewood is more expensive than the food. And that is very true, right? So even nowadays, cooking gas has become so expensive, right? Yes, so other things also. And it is because of what? Population increases, more demand on resources, right? Yes. So since the tropical forest is, in the words of Dr. Myers, the powerhouse of evolution, several species of life face extinction as a result of this. So what will happen? You are going to cut down the forests. You need land for your growth, for development, right? You're destroying the forests. It is there. You, along with that, you are destroying the habitat. So the tropical forests here, they are the powerhouse of evolution. Maximum biodiversity, right? And what happens if we are cutting these forests? We're going to lose so many species. They're going to lose their homes. Where are they going to go? Eventually, they'll become homeless. And right, as a result of that, we are going to disturb the whole ecology, the whole ecosystem. Is this clear to hear? Yes? So naturally, the birds and the animals, they lose their homes. They're going to be lost forever. We might result in their extinction. Okay, right? So here, fisheries, how are they being exploited? Protein conscious, we need more fish, right? So overfishing. And as a result, we're not giving that pause, we're not stopping because we want more money, we want more profits, right? And so as a result, we're putting so much of what you can, and because as you go out to fish, other problems also happen. You will need oil spills also, right? So we talk about pollution here, the water is getting polluted, and yes, overfishing. So many things combined, right? Forests, yes, people, they need firewood where they don't have access to any other means, right? So they're using firewood for cooking. So going to the forest, bringing back firewood. Otherwise, also, yes, the forests are being cut for development. As a result, species are becoming homeless, resulting in their extinction. So man is there, very dangerous, very, very dangerous. Whatever biological system he is touching is just leading into its what? Destruction, is creating problems over there. It has been well said that forests precede mankind, deserts follow. Please underline this. Forests come before mankind, but when man comes on the scene, what is he going to do? He's going to destroy all the forest, all the greenery is going to disappear. What is he going to make of that forest? A desert. And it does not happen overnight, it is gradually, day by day, years, and eventually we face this harsh reality that what have we done? And then it's too late, right? So now is the time to act. Now is the time to wake up and do something for our environment. The world's ancient patrimony of tropical forests is now eroding. Now, these are statistics which we had many years ago, right? So, what could be the statistics now? The world's ancient patrimony, the legacy that we have got of tropical forests is now eroding at 40 to 50 million acres a year. And other reasons also we have read, so with the fires, with the bushfires here, the Amazon forests here, the tropical forest, right? So as a result, so many trees lost, so many habitats lost, so many animals lost. Isn't it, right? So this patrimony, this legacy of forests that we got, we are quite capable of turning that lush green area into a desert. And it's around us. We notice things here. What about the green cover in our city? Right? How much greenery do we see? Where are those green pockets? Where can we find them? Right? So it's eroding at the rate of 40 to 50 million acres a year. Right? Just look at this. Yes, the rate of eroding or rate of cutting of forest, 40 to 50 million acres a year. It's not a small distance, right? A small area. And the growing use of dung for burning. deprives the soil of an important natural fertilizer. So we have people using cow dung, also trying cow dung as wood, like what? As fuel or for cooking, right? So they're burning it. And it destroys the land, or it depletes the land of a very important fertilizer. The World Bank estimates that a five-fold increase in the forest planting is needed to cope with the expected fuel wood demand in the year 2060. So it must be many more times now, right? So we're talking about 2022. So what would be the required rate of planting trees? And when we see on the highways, we see where construction is done, how much green cover is there? Are we planting trees? Are we thinking about the future? Think about it yourself, okay? James Smith, the president of the World Resources Institute, said the other day, we were saying that we were losing the forest at an acre a second. So as we speak, an acre of forest is lost. But it is much closer to an acre and a half to a second. This is an alarming rate of loss of forests, right? Now, Article 48A of the Constitution of India provides that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. Right? So, our Constitution states that. Right? In our Constitution, it is written that we need the state will take care of the environment, will take care of the wildlife. So nowadays, our concern here, when we think about the future, it has to be about a cleaner, greener environment. Right? So we need to think about this as a need of the future. Okay, right? So 48A article of the Constitution of India provides that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forests and wildlife. But what causes endless anguish is the fact that laws are never respected nor enforced in India. Endless pain, it really hurts us that these laws are never respected. And when we talk about environment, that's the last thing on our mind, right? So we're busy with all these great concrete structures, and many of them incomplete. They're incomplete, they're abandoned, right? So much of wastage of resources, right? Land being taken away. What is more important at this time is, yes, let's think about it. Let's think about the future, because that is something that we really need. We don't have clean air, we don't have clean water, we don't have healthy crops. Then what is our future going to be like? And once again, we break all kinds of laws. So when, as I said, talking about the environment is the last thing. We don't even make a basic rules, right? So of course, here it is like that. For instance, the Constitution says that casteism, untouchability, and bonded labor shall be abolished. But they flourish shamelessly even after 44 years of operation of the Constitution. It's much more now, right? So even after that, even after more than 70 years, we still come across casteism, we come across untouchability, we come across bonded labor, child labor, all these things that have been abolished. Even then, we find them being practiced. Okay, so once again, if the Constitution has stated very clearly that the state has to take care of the wildlife. A recent report of our Parliament's Estimate Committee has highlighted the near catastrophic depletion of India's forest in the last 4 decades. Catastrophe, a disaster. Depletion, reduction. Right? India, according to reliable data, is losing its forest at the rate of 3.7 million acres a year. Large areas officially designated as forest land are already virtually treeless. The actual loss of forest is estimated to be about 8 times the rate indicated by government statistics. So government statistics are different, but the ground picture is always another story. right? But whatever the situation, it's an alarming situation. We're losing our forests, which is not a nice thing. We need the forests. If the forests are there, we will survive. How difficult it is going to be surviving in a desert, okay? Right. A 3-year study using satellites and aerial photography conducted by the United Nations warns that the environment has deteriorated so badly that it is critical in many of the 88 countries investigated. So once again, what about the condition of the environment? Right? What about the quality of air? What about it? It has deteriorated. So, right, so continuous studies, aerial photography, satellites, what have they shown us? That the environment is deteriorating. And this is the reality. Okay, so here we are talking about the fisheries, we're talking about the forests, we're talking about the grasslands, we're talking about the croplands, and how man is reducing them at an alarming rate. There can be no doubt that the growth of world population is one of the strongest factors distorting the future of human society. It took mankind more than 1 million years to reach the first billion. That was the world population around the year 1800. By the year 1900, the second billion was added. And the 20th century has added another 3.7 billion. The present world population is estimated at 5.7 billion. Every 4 days, the world population increases by 1 million. So human population is a very, very important factor, right? For this deterioration of the environment. More people, more homes, more land required, more trees being cut, more, you can say water, the fisheries being exploited, more crops being planted, more of the soil being disturbed, right? Or you can say what, contaminated with so many chemicals and fertilizers, right? So population is one very, very important factor. And how the population is increasing. Earlier, of course, we talk about 1800, 1900, we're talking about the 21st century here, but how it has increased so many times, right? And what about the resources? Have the resources increased? No. Has our land and earth increased? No. Has the water increased? No. What has increased? The number of people on earth, they have increased. Resources have not. So one very, very important factor which is there about human population, that is, yes, how it leads to the destruction of the environment, how it leads to the depletion of the resources. Okay, any doubts, any questions, anyone? Anyone? So what can you do to take care of the environment? How can you contribute? How can we be responsible citizens? How can we help in stopping this from happening?